Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at 5:30.
A car narrowly misses hitting a house and hitting a woman who was standing on the front porch. Coming up, hear from that woman and what she has to say about the terrifying ordeal.
A suspect in a Clark County robbery faced a judge today. We'll have more on the decision to pass his case on to a grand jury.
They expect us to come back today and act like nothing happened and sit down and learn. No, today is going to be pure chaos.
And students in Louisville returning to class today following a school shooting. WKYT News at 5:30 starts now. Good afternoon to you. Some frightening moments this morning for a Clark County woman when a car plowed into the side of her home.
It happened on East Hickman Drive in Winchester. Police say the driver had a medical emergency causing him to drive right onto the front porch. As WKYT's Jordan Valines tells us, despite the extensive damage to the house, the owner says she is just lucky to be alive. Jordan has our top story at 5:30.
Didn't expect anything that early in the morning to happen.
Moments after Liz Deaver stepped onto her front porch.
Seeing this car coming as fast as he could, I mean, it kept speeding up, accelerating speed. He'd hit one car, kept coming up.
A car traveling around 50 miles per hour was heading straight towards her.
I screamed bloody murder.
Just seconds later,
it just sounded like a big crash. Yeah, just real loud.
Deaver says the car came up into her front lawn and ended up knocking down the two support beams on her porch. Then she says it ran straight into this concrete structure over here. The impact of that crash then caused the hood of the car to catch on fire.
People were running around out here screaming, trying to get the guy out of the car before it blew up.
Thankfully, her fiance and a neighbor were able to pull the driver out of the car, and they later learned he'd suffered a seizure while driving, which caused him to crash.
I was shook up then. Yeah, I've calmed down. I'm just praying for the gentleman. I hope he's okay. And
Deaver now thankful that she and her house,
yeah, that could have killed me,
are still standing.
If I'd been standing right here, he would have taken me out with him. And that could have been a lot worse.
In Winchester, Jordan Valines, WKYT.
Now, Deaver says she's waiting to hear back from her insurance company to see how much it will cost to repair all that damage.
In our county-by-county coverage at 5:30, we are tracking stories out of Clark and Jessamine counties. In Clark County, the Winchester Sun reports the case of a robbery that ended in gunfire will now be sent to a grand jury. 23-year-old Curtis Wilkerson was in court today for a preliminary hearing. Police say Wilkerson and Devin Marshall went into the 96 truck stop last week and demanded money. Police say Marshall was shot by the store owner after he pulled a gun on the clerk. Marshall died 2 days later. Wilkerson was held by other employees until police arrived. He has pled not guilty to a robbery charge. A second robbery charge against Wilkerson for a previous robbery will also go on to a grand jury. In Jessamine County, the case against a controversial cyclist has been continued. Cherokee Schill will be back in court in December. She was arrested last month in Jessamine County for riding her bike along US 27 and charged with wanton endangerment. Earlier this year, she lost a legal battle when a judge found her guilty of careless driving. Schill maintains she has a right to ride her bike on that busy road.
It's the first day of October, but it feels more like the first day of summer. So don't get too used to this warm weather. Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey has a look at what we can expect this weekend. Chris, just in time for the opening day of Keeneland, right?
Yeah, it looks like those changes blowing in on Friday, Sam, will include a lot of gusty winds, showers, and thunderstorms. Then the big temperature plunge arrives as we go into the first weekend of October. Good-looking sky out there right now, and in most of the region, live sky cam showing a partly cloudy sky. Defender has been fairly calm and quiet. That's what it looks like from the outside. Here's what it is seeing from inside out. It's another quiet afternoon. Now transitioning into a quiet evening. Those showers and thunderstorms beginning to flare up for areas to our west, into sections of the Ozarks, into Arkansas, now up into Missouri and Iowa, Illinois. That's fairly close to the bluegrass getting in on the showers and storms. The actual cold front, though, still well to our west. That won't arrive until we go into your Friday and early Saturday. The warm temperatures on your headlines about to come to an abrupt end. And tomorrow may be the warmest we've had in a while and likely the warmest until next summer. Because by the time Friday rolls around, cold air comes storming into town with widespread showers and thunderstorms. So much cold air pours in behind this front that we're tracking the potential for a little patchy frost into the weekend. Guys, a little bit ago I was talking about wind chill. I've pulled up some of the numbers from the computer models. I'll show you what they're forecasting for a wind chill this weekend coming up.
We may not want to see that. Thank you anyway, though, Chris. Students returned to class today following a school shooting. Police say a 16-year-old student shot a 15-year-old inside Fern Creek High School in Louisville yesterday afternoon. The suspect is in custody, but as Anna Lisa Gale reports, many students and parents were still worried about school resuming so quickly.
Unfortunately, one student out of over 1,500 made a very bad decision yesterday.
Principal Nate Meyer is welcoming back students to Fern Creek High School a day after a level 5 lockdown.
I saw another student pull out a gun to shoot another student.
Bullets were fired by a 16-year-old sophomore around 1 on the second floor of the school. They landed in a 15-year-old student's stomach and leg. That student is now recovering at University Hospital and is in stable condition. The suspect was caught around 4 at a nearby apartment.
One of the things that of course that we're required to do is do trainings, do drills for these items, and our students and our staff handled this perfectly.
The school is now operating on a security level 3, which means that parent access is restricted, teachers' doors are locked, and students need hall passes. There is mixed emotion from students and parents returning.
They expect us to come back today and act like nothing happened and sit down and learn. No, today is going to be pure chaos.
There is a little bit different of a day, but we all feel safe. I feel safe every day.
Shea Jackson and her friend says they both planned on leaving school early today due to safety concerns. Parents like Sequoia Barry also kept her kids home Wednesday for the same reason. She gave the school a F for how the shooting was handled Tuesday.
You have to have some kind of metal detectors at these doors so that you can trigger that and know that it is really something else that it shouldn't be.
Principal Meyer is also a parent of a Fern Creek High School student.
In the heat of the moment of what happened, I'm just looking out for what is the best interests of our kids and our staff.
The suspect is at the Jefferson County Youth Detention Center and is charged with assault and wanton endangerment.
Today marks the start of Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and with recent attention to domestic violence after the NFL and the Ray Rice scandal, the Kentucky Commission on Women hopes to help victims of abuse through awareness efforts. This month, old phones and accessories will be collected through the statewide Hope Line Drive. Collection boxes will be set up at more than 400 agencies and Verizon stores throughout the state. Proceeds from the used phone drive will go towards cash grants for domestic violence agencies. State leaders say domestic violence is something that affects daily performance.
You know that situation spills over into the workplace, and it affects productivity.
This year, company sponsor Verizon has given out more than $100,000 for domestic violence prevention and response in Kentucky. The collection boxes will be out until October 31st.
Here's another good reason to be very cautious about any relationship that begins online. One woman was lured into an illegal scheme by a man she met. Her involvement could have led to her arrest.
I met Paul M. Smith on Match.com.
Patty says she and Paul went on several dates and had many conversations in person and online. Then he told her he was leaving on a trip and asked for a favor.
I've got some packages that are being sent. I don't trust them being sent to my place. Do you mind them being sent to your place?
Patty said fine. Then he asked if she would send the large packages to his business partner with labels he supplied. She didn't question the request.
We intercepted the packages.
Postal inspectors seized the packages when they noticed phony postage.
Our employees were looking at these packages and they knew something was wrong.
Inside, they found laptops, TVs, and electronics. So they went to Patty.
She still thought this was a friend of hers or a boyfriend of hers.
Eventually, she realized he was no longer a friend, but just using her to reship stolen goods.
And we're the one telling her, this is not your friend. He's taking advantage of you. He's asking you to do something illegal. So she was very emotional.
Patty cooperated with inspectors and told her what had happened. Reshipping conmen usually find victims online through job websites. Not this time. Patty admits the experience has taken an emotional toll.
Honestly, I second guess almost everyone.
Postal inspectors warn be careful about job opportunities and romantic relationships found on the internet. In the case of relationships, be cautious of anyone asking you to send or be a part of a transaction.
Well, Election Day is only about a month away, and on Sunday, the candidates for Lexington mayor will come face to face. Challenger Anthony Beatty and incumbent Mayor Jim Gray will answer questions from WKYT's own Bill Bryant in a debate at 6 Sunday night. It will air on the CW Lexington. WKYT is partnering with the Herald Leader, News Radio 630, WLAP, and the League of Women Voters to broadcast that debate.